Hello, beautiful people. We're back. NFL, my giant face on Instagram. That's always going to drive me nuts until I get my guest on. NFL divisional weekend. I'm pretty jacked up about it myself, but a lot of good food to talk about. I had a strong lunch at Cottage yesterday. It's a couple of things that I hadn't had before. We're going to talk about all that and more with Leslie Rowland next week. Before that, we're going to have a conversation with my buddy Chef Brian Fiascanaro of the Laundry Diner. That's going to be at a special early time of 3:00 p.m., which may or may not be a simulcast of a particular Netflix program that he and I enjoy live from Belfast, I want to say. Either way, we'll save that for then. As far as right now is concerned, on a Friday afternoon at a little after 4:30, I have a special guest today who I have been very excited to talk about for quite some time. And the timing of this particular episode worked out very well because I had the chance to stop by there yesterday and indulge in quite a large amount of delicious barbecue. So without wasting any more time, as we head into close into the Friday evening dinner service, ladies and gentlemen, Eric Amey from Choo Choo BBQ. How are you, man?
I'm good. Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's good to catch
Appreciate
up.
you having me on.
Of course, dude. We've been talking about this for a while. I had to get through
Yep.
my soup insanity, right? And then I had to, gather all the goodies and get together with Amber Cole, who won the soup de tour contest. So I was up to my eyeballs in soup. But now that I got a little bit more flexibility in the schedule, it's always the case where it's like I'm either going, like a couple of weeks, like it's always one or the other, right? It's kind of the same with business. You're either like it's either too quiet for you, or it's like, what's to the wall, like everything's crazy. And so basically, I know for a fact that I'm going to overcompensate for, the lack of podcasts, of shows, whatever you want to call them, over the next couple of weeks, because I literally have, I would probably say 6, 7, 8 plus that are like firmly scheduled for a specific day. So they're going to come fast and furious, just like this one. Like I always like to cast live to all 3 platforms, and then you can always come back and watch it on Facebook for the following month, or YouTube forever. So let's get right into it. So I wanted to come and see you yesterday because obviously I've eaten at Choo Choo BBQ a couple of times on site, sat and ate there, but also wanted to get there this week because you've been putting out some pretty wild stuff in terms of like these specials and these things that are coming out for a couple weeks here and a couple weeks there. So that was part of the deal yesterday, where I was just like, you drive, right? This was about a month or so ago, so you still got the snowman out front. I said, you drive, and let's highlight a couple of the things that, because and that's the other thing, and we're going to get to that. There's been a lot of really cool content with this stuff. You're having a lot of fun with it. I think, who was it that called you out and told you that you needed to do some more of these videos?
My fiance did.
Yes,
yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
That's what it was. That's what I thought. So, and you have responded in turn with some really funny stuff. We're limited on here. Hopefully I'll get this figured out after this particular, because we talked about it before. I want to try to figure out a way that I can get if I pull something up on one of my browsers here, to get the audio to come up without like saving the whole file. But either way, we'll direct people at the end to your Facebook. Are you on Instagram too? I think so, right?
I'm on Facebook. I just started Instagram. We
Okay.
are also now on TikTok. So
Oh,
I just
okay.
started, yeah.
You got to you're catering to the TikTokers too. I personally, I don't know anything about TikTok. It was funny because my buddy Ryan Chewensky, the from Bluffton Builders, he posted a story yesterday where his wife is really incredible with her TikTok content, and I think he had her kind of take over the company's TikTok because he doesn't have any idea what's going on with that, and neither do I. I don't even have the app on my phone, so when I have friends that send me TikToks, I'm like, I can't even open this thing because it just takes me and it wants me to install it. I'm platformed out, dude. I don't need
Oh,
any other
don't
platform.
do it.
But I get it. I understand why, because that's the certain things have more of an opportunity to go viral and get more attention on TikTok than they do on these other ones. But I'm holding pretty strong with Facebook and Instagram as it is, and of course, everything ultimately lives on YouTube in perpetuity. So when I came by yesterday, I said, "All right, let's go." You drive the car, and the first thing that you mentioned was I think it was the smothered pork chop, correct?
Yeah, yeah. That smothered pork chop. It's always a hit. Um, it's seasoned, deep fried, and then you smother it in gravy so it's nice and tender. I got that when I was running the number one soul food and Jamaican restaurant in Central Florida. It was called From Scratch. I mean, that's what we were known for. It was a staple there. So I figured, we want to focus on Southern food. When we bought the restaurant, we wanted to make sure we kept all the recipes the same. And we just wanted to add, our little flair to it. So that is one of the big ones, the smothered pork chop. I just love it. It's one of the only ways I eat pork chops. It's just so tender, and I'm a fat kid, so it's right up my alley.
This was I think it looked almost the same in mine because I got the mac and cheese with this too. And then I don't remember what the other one was that we had with it, but we were talking about before, like this, so this is your photo, obviously on your page. I brought this thing home last night along with a few other things that we're going to talk about. It did not look at this pretty, especially with the green sprinkled on there, because again, I brought it back home with me. But you said it, man, with this pork chop was literally like, I mean, it was like, and I say this in the best way possible, it wasn't even intact. Like my wife took her piece first, and I was like, I wasn't sure what it was because you had a lot of the gravy on there, which is, of course, I love, because you might not see it from looking at it on your computer or your phone, folks, but this is over a bed of white rice. So these two slabs of pork chop are like resting on this lovely bed of rice, and there is just a ton of gravy poured over it, and it is literally like I was able to like get my fork underneath it to manage it for a second to transfer it to my plate, but once I started digging into this thing, it was like fall apart fantastic. The gravy was delicious, and yeah, I mean there was in the piece that I had, there was one bone, and when I tell you, dude, that bone came clean off. Like there was nothing left on that bone. And it was funny because then there was a little bit left over. And we ate about half of it, of the couple of things that we got. So I was able to save, let's say like half of one piece. And it was just funny to me because after I scooped everything like over into the thing, you just had that one and it's not like I cleaned it. Like I didn't eat off that bone. I didn't take the fork and put it, literally just slipped out of there, kind of like they do sometimes with the asabuco or whatever it is, or even when they just pull the thing out, or have you seen ones where they do the sandwich and they put the thing on there and then they just slide the bone out of the sandwich?
Yeah.
That's the vibe that I was getting from this. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not exaggerating. I don't know that I've even had a smothered pork chop before. So this may ruin all other smothered pork chops for me because I've never had it, and this thing was fabulous.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course, of course. So what I also did was, I mean, of course, if you're gonna have any barbecue, obviously you got to get yourself some ribs. So I think we did a half rack, we said, of the ribs. I still got a couple more left over. Those are gonna go down. I can pull that up right here. Those are going to go down probably later today or tomorrow while I'm watching football. I'm glad I brought this one up because this has your half rack. We did some potato salad. We did the baked beans. Those didn't stand a chance last night. The baked beans went down. I'm gonna. I totally dropped the ball yesterday on cornbread, so I'm gonna make up for that next time. But you made up for it by throwing in that lovely slice of the how do you say it? Ube
Ube cheesecake.
ube cheesecake, which you said was made with the what is it made with? What potato?
So ube is a sweet purple yam.
Sweet
So
purple yam. That's right.
yeah, yeah. My fiance, she's Filipino, and it's real big in the Philippines. Ube is just super popular, and I love that cheesecake. It's been a fan favorite here. I had one lady, she took her first slice, and then she asked if my fiance can make 110 miniature ones for a baby shower. But yeah, it's definitely a fan favorite. I literally have people that call every week to see if it's in stock, because she does have a full time job, so she's not able to come up here all the time and make it. So it's just one of those. When I post it, it's gone.
The ube cheesecake may or may not have left the room late yesterday evening. There's no way that thing was going to last in my refrigerator for through night one. I don't have a lot of after the holidays, once you get through like all the cakes and the cookies and the sweets and everything, I've been trying to pump the brakes by like not bringing new stuff in. I stayed at a hotel for a couple of nights, so of course there's not much else to eat there. So M&Ms and that kind of nonsense, but I didn't really end up eating it all, so it came home with me. But other than that, I don't have a whole heck of a lot of sweets on hand right now. So when I opened the fridge last night and I saw that beautiful purple slice of cheesecake staring at me at eye level, it was it was going to go down. So the other thing that I've been and we'll come back to my meal from last night, but the other thing that I thought was kind of cool that you've been kind of promoting lately, excuse me, is these bowls. So talk to me about look, this to me looks like you got some mac and cheese, collard greens, pulled pork, I want to say probably.
So I think that one's the pulled chicken mac and
Ah,
cheese one.
yes. You're right. It does look more like chicken now that I look closer at it.
Yeah, so again, going back to the fat kid thing, I wanted to do something a little different for us. I mean, our barbecue, I love our barbecue sauces. I love our barbecue. And I did update the mac and cheese when I took over. So I went ahead and I updated the mac and cheese, and I figured, like, let's just make a fat kid meal. So
Yeah.
we do have the rice option or the mac and cheese option. You're going to get the mac and cheese as your base, or the rice as your base, and then you're going to get one side. I do it with the collard greens because it's the South and you got to eat some collard greens. I figured make it a little healthy.
Yep.
And then we throw a bunch of this one pulled chicken on top and just soak it down with our sauce. I'm real big on the Carolina and the smoky mild. Carolina to me just kind of makes it. The smoky mild is super good. Just really depends on how I feel. And then you just get a nice slice of cornbread on it. And then again, fat kid style, I kind of just crumble my cornbread up and mix it all together.
Just like you would kind of do what some people would do on a bowl of chili. You talked about the sauces. I'm a big sauce guy, obviously. I called so my friend Leah Davis is she's got some really good content, and it's not just where she goes out to eat with her husband and her kids, but it's also a lot of stuff that she cooks at home. And she was making a pasta sauce the other night, and I was like, "Is that like looked like a carbonara to me?" And she writes back later and she says, "No, it was actually Trader Joe's caramelized onion dip turned into a sauce." And
Okay.
that blew my mind. I said, you need to go to jail. And she thought I meant it in a negative way, like you're crazy. I meant it in the very most positive way possible because that sounds amazing. And I say all that to say that I came up with the term. I called her a sorceress, like instead of a sorceress, a sorceress, because that is some devious stuff. As I turned around to walk to go outside, and I ended up running like to make another stop, and then doubled back to grab my food. Right before I popped out after we went through the whole order, you said you want me to give you like a little bit of each of the sauces, and I don't even think I let you finish the sentence. And I was like, "Yes, give me all the sauce." And you hit me up with two of the hot. What did you call the barbecue? What did you call it? The smoky?
Yeah, so we got the smoky hot barbecue sauce, the smoky mild,
Yes.
the Carolina mustard base, and then we have the vinegar. Those are all four original sauces that have gotten passed down through the ownership. And then recently, you should have seen one that said JJ on it. I
That was
introduced
the
my JJ
Jamaican jerk.
sauce. Yep, that's my Jamaican jerk sauce.
Okay. I want to come back to that because you surprised me with a little taste of the Jamaican jerk chicken, which was also fall off the bone phenomenal. Also, as I mean, that was I saw the JJ and I was like, that's for the jerk chicken. That was awesome, dude. But before we get to that, um, that mustard sauce, right? That Carolina mustard barbecue sauce. Um, talk about fat kids, right? I I really avoid like filthy fast food anymore, but every once in a while there are certain exceptions. Like, yeah, obviously if you're traveling, I was actually able to avoid any real fast food. I hit Wawa on the way out of town, although I wasn't super impressed with it. I guess it was the one over in Pooler, and then on the way back, I kind of planned ahead, and I ended up getting a couple of extra sandwiches at this place called Fred's Milk and Bread over in the Krog Street Market in Atlanta. Shout out Chef Anders Graham was like, you got to go to Fred's. Did I say milk and bread? Fred's Meat and Bread, and you got to get this Korean cheesesteak, and it had like gochujang and like candied jalapenos or whatever. So I planned ahead so that I had lunch on the way home and this and that. But every once in a while, my wife and I both will get a hankering for some McDonald's chicken McNuggets. And honestly, more so than the actual nugget itself, the reason why it's like this every so often, like guilty pleasure, is because we love that hot mustard sauce. And your Carolina like barbecue, the Carolina mustard barbecue sauce. I'm not saying it's like a one for one, but it gives that vibe. It's kind of like that dark yellow color. The mustard really comes through, and obviously because it's barbecue, it has that tang that combines with the mustard. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest like mustard, like straight mustard on my sandwich fan. I do like some honey mustard, but when it comes to like a spicy mustard, yeah, Grey Poupons, that kind of stuff, depending on what you're eating. I definitely like it if it has a kick. I'm not generally the biggest fan of mustards in general or mustard barbecue sauces. That's the best one that I've had. And even before I got a chance to taste it, she was like, it just reminded her of that. And I knew that meant in the most complimentary way possible, because like we'll stock up on that when we get the nuggets. We'll like get a couple extra sauces and just keep them in the fridge. And it's like if we, one of those reheatable chicken patties or something, if you're doing like a quick meal or you have leftover I'll just eat her. She makes amazing chicken cutlets with like panko breadcrumbs, and I'll cut those up and use like that hot mustard sauce because it's just like one of my favorite things. So these sauces were all bangers. Honestly, the other part was we did catfish, right? So
Yep.
talk to me about the catfish because you gave me that was a tartar sauce with the catfish, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you making that as well or no?
Oh yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Talk to me about
Um,
the catfish, the fried catfish. I'm gonna see if I can find a picture up. Take this bowl off of here. Talk to me about the catfish because honestly, I was just like a Neanderthal, just pulling pieces of it and dipping them in the tartar. That was fantastic. It was really good.
Yeah, so I know the previous owner he used to do some smoked salmon on occasion, and then my fiance she's Catholic, so fish is very big with her, especially being from the Philippines.
Yes.
So I figured let's do some southern stuff. Let's put some catfish on the menu. Actually, I got a good rate on it, so we're able to kind of bread it up, with some cornmeal, and then deep fry it, and it's been super popular. So I put it on the menu. I tried it out as a special, which is how I kind of test items here. And then everyone kind of just adopted it. The tartar sauce, I've been wanting to kind of stay away from all that processed, stuff from Cisco that everybody else has. So I've been starting to make my own tartar sauce. The one you got, I've been making that for years now. Sometimes I'm able to use the purple onions if they look good enough, and it kind of has like a purple tint to it. This time I wasn't with purple onions, so I just used the regular yellow onions. But it's kind of been like a fan favorite. I have one lady, I swear she drinks the sauce when she gets the catfish because I mean her husband will come in a couple days later and buy some more food, and they'll go, "Can I get some more tartar sauce? 'Cause my wife needs it for the rest of her catfish plate." I mean, she gets 3 or 4 every time she orders it. So
It's
yeah,
good stuff. And I definitely I want to see what it looks like with those with the purple onions too. I bet that gives it kind of a cool and that's what's fun is like when it's like a little bit different, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
you when you're let's put it this way. Okay? Obviously I've eaten the food, it's fantastic. But if you know that someone is putting this much effort into the sauces that they're making, because the reality is like and just in general, without any specifics whatsoever, there are a lot of restaurants and establishments that you know they're not going to make their own whatever barbecue sauce or this or that, and it's just maybe for certain places just that's not particularly a priority for them. And there's also people that aren't particularly a big fan of sauce. I love sauce with everything. So if you're putting this much time and effort and energy into building a tartar sauce for a fried piece of fish, like to me that says okay, if they're putting this much effort into the sauce, I can imagine how much effort they're putting into the main dishes and all the other stuff themselves. We talked about the smothered pork chop. We talked about the catfish. I literally like want to come back and get some more of that like within the next couple of days. That's how good that was. Do you put? Can you have that on a sandwich too, or no?
not currently,
Okay.
because we're just a small kitchen. So
Yeah.
with all the new stuff I've been adding on the menu, I inherited my cook. He's been here for 8 years, and I mean
Yeah.
he's such an asset. I love the guy. I mean, he's the nicest person you ever meet. But I don't want to overload him. I've been in
Yeah.
kitchens myself because I worked my way up where
Yeah.
your chefs just like make it happen, and you're like, I can't. So I'm trying not to overwork him. Like even when I do the smothered pork chops or the mac and cheese bowls, I literally run over there and I make it for him so he doesn't have a headache.
Yeah.
I tried doing that with the jerk chicken, but he kind of just watched me a few times, and I marinate that overnight.
Yeah.
So I marinate. What I'm prepping up today is going to get smoked tomorrow night, so it can get
Right.
cooked for the next day. So
Mhm.
I go in there the second time I did it, and I'm like, "Hey, let me know when you have some free space, so I can get the jerk chicken on the smoker." He goes, "Oh, it's already on the smoker." I'm like, all right, cool. Well, let me know when you have some free space so I can season up the jerk chicken. Oh, I already got it seasoned. It's right here in this bucket. Like he. So I've been trying to make sure I don't overwork him because we've
Yeah.
all had those terrible experiences at work.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to make sure that he's supported. So the sandwiches might come as we grow and develop, and we're looking at bringing in some new staff to kind of keep up with the new demand that we're getting.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna
keep an
say,
eye out for it.
yeah, put that in your back pocket for a sandwich tour that may or may not be coming to the Bluffton Hilton Head area, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, 100%.
we talked about that a little bit. So we didn't get you guys in on the soup, but we're gonna make up for it the next time around. Um, what was oh, and then we talked about the ribs as well. Um, I got a little bit of Brunswick stew as one of the sides. That's that I put threw that in a bowl, just gave it a little quick 1 minute nuke in the microwave. Really, really good. I'm a big Brunswick stew guy. Um, the um, the green beans, enjoyed those. Um, the sweet potato, what is it called?
The sweet potato casserole. Yeah,
Yes,
that
this. My wife's like, I'm gonna finish this sweet potato casserole. I'm like, go for it. I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm not the biggest sweet potato guy. But I took a bite of that and I was like, okay. So you were talking about chef. Is this where a lot of the heavy stuff's going on back here with the smoking and all that nonsense?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's our caboose. That's why we're Choo Choo BBQ.
Yeah.
A lot of my regulars, they've been ordering from that since it was at a gas station originally. I used to go right up to the window and order it. So he's been cooking out of there for 2 decades.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we do have the smoker out front, and then we have a huge smoker in the back of the caboose.
Okay.
Um, that kind of lets us regulate the temperature, regulate the smoke quantity, and kind of feeds the smoke or feeds the wood overnight as it's cooking. So you have that constant smoke and temperature and everything.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah.
I think that, and I want to dive back into the menu because I want to make sure that everybody knows everything that they have access to, in addition to some of the other stuff that you mentioned that you want to talk about that's coming down the pike. But before we get to that, right? I always talk about, and I also should show. I mean, this was quite a while ago, but this was when I sat outside. This was before you were here. Um, Sat outside, put together a nice platter. I had the pulled chicken, I had the pulled pork, I had the coleslaw, the cornbread, the green beans. There's a lot of different combinations, and we're going to get into all of that stuff. This was a nice sunny day, sitting outside with my buddy Tanner Sutphin from Christie's, who's a regular over there. Strategically schedules his appointments sometimes because they're right. And I know he's a big cheap seats guy, so he's a regular over there. And we had a great line. This was a while back when the Indulgent Islander was sort of in its infancy, and we were kind of he was helping me come up with some ideas and direction and things like that. A day one supporter, and this might have been like the first lunch that I actually had. So this was quite a while ago. The reason why I'm saying this is because I roughly know like the timeline, and we've discussed it, briefly. Talk about this because this is a relatively new venture for you, right? This place has been here for a while, but now this is your show. Since when? Give us this, because I love the stories. And you talked about one of your stops and where you were before, that influenced the dishes that we were talking about before. And I'd love to hear about more of that stuff as much as you'd like to share it. But talk to us about how this came about. And I think people should know about that this is not the same Choo Choo barbecue. I don't say this in a negative way, because it was fine before, but we're leveling up quite a bit in terms of what we have, how we're changing things around. Events, we'll touch on that later. I know I'm doing a lot of foreshadowing here, but it's a lot to keep track of, because dude, you have a lot going on there, and especially with what you and I talked about, that you're going to drop hints on as we wrap things up in a little while. But talk about what brought you here, and that whole story.
Well, my fiance kind of brought me to the area. Before this, I was kind of doing consulting, so I was traveling all over the place. COVID, kind of changed everybody's life. So before COVID, I was kind of a traveling chef. I'd work at resorts and private clubs, and I also did restaurants. That was my base that I started with. So, I ran the number one soul food and Jamaican restaurant in Central Florida. And then I kind of got into, really cooking, at resorts at a higher level. So, when I was on the road all the time, my fiance, then my girlfriend, she was kind of tired of me being gone all the time. So I was looking around in the area, and the owner we bought it from, he laid a great groundwork. The person started up, laid a great groundwork, and he was just retiring, to spend some more time with his family. So we ended up buying the restaurant, and I'm really glad we did, because I didn't know what I was buying when I bought it. I mean, I have people that have been coming here for 20 years.
Yeah.
The same family comes in every Tuesday night. And I mean, I've got to meet some incredible people. And, I listen to a lot of people and a lot of their suggestions. And, I had some people like, hey, are you going to add anything on the menu? You've taken over. And, at first I had to lay that groundwork to assure everybody I was keeping everything.
Yes.
They didn't,
Like, it's if it ain't broke, don't fix it. People like this place,
exactly.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we have that solid foundation, and, the most incredible people that come in here. I mean, I got regulars that come in here once a week. I have a guy that comes in here pretty much every day. Um, so, I just wanted to keep that foundation, and we kind of added some stuff on the menu. So we kind of show that little flair that we have. We kind of updated some of the interior. Like you see, we got more tables. We got the picture you're showing. We got the tablecloths on it now, and the updated menu boards that we've added a lot onto. So yeah, we just kind of got really lucky with what we purchased, and we just wanted to make sure we stay true to it, to the base, and then kind of improve it, and add some stuff onto the menu that kind of shows that we're here and we're trying some new stuff. We do offer delivery now, which none of the previous owners did. We actually just partnered with a new company called Chow Now. If you order on our website, it sends it right into the computer One thing that I learned when we added in the delivery service, and I didn't know this when I was a customer, DoorDash and Uber Eats, they charge a lot of money.
Yeah,
Like
no
DoorDash is
doubt.
25% on top of my prices. And then you got to pay for the delivery fee. Well, the Chow
Yeah.
now, they charge you my prices.
Oh,
And it
really?
prints right out. So if you come in during a rush, at lunchtime, it's kind of chaotic in here some days. So, if you don't want to wait in the line, you can just order off your phone and it shoots it right into my kitchen and prints it right out of my ticket receipt at the register. And you've already paid and you've already kind of skipped the line. Um,
See, these
so,
are the
we just,
these are the cheat codes. This is the kind of like behind the scenes, draw the curtain back stuff that is like, again, if you're busy and you don't want to come in there and wait, he just gave you the loophole, right? He gave
yeah,
you go on, order on Chow Now. Your order's going straight back to the kitchen. They don't even have to take the order. It's going right in there. And you got 3, 4, 5. I mean, I was there yesterday. There was two people that were sitting in there that were eating already. Then there was a guy that was ordering right in front of me. And then I put my order in. And then I think I had someone come in like right after me. So, I mean, this was a little bit later in the afternoon. So, but when you're talking about prime lunch and dinner time, which, you're heading, it's a little after 5 now on a Friday, probably going to start be picking up a little, and we're going to let you go in a little bit because of that. But this is a way, if you are in a rush, you're doing stuff, bringing the kids around, or you're on the way from this game or that game or whatever it is that you're doing, you pop this order in, you can walk right in there and grab it and take it away, and you don't have to wait on this line.
yeah. And they also do offer delivery.
Okay.
Their delivery fee is like $7.98 versus the 5 you spend with DoorDash or Uber Eats. But again, I can't stress enough. You're paying my prices.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely worth you saving that 25% from DoorDash, ordering through that. And we're partnering with them right now to kind of, and it's coming soon, hopefully in the next couple months, we'll actually have a Choo Choo BBQ app. You'll be able to order from, see your order
Really?
history, all that. Yep, 100%.
You guys
So,
aren't screwing around. I love this. Do you think the Chow Now would come out like by me out here on 170? It's probably
um,
within the radius, right?
oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay.
Anywhere that DoorDash and Uber Eats delivers, they have the
Okay.
same delivery. Yeah.
All right. There you heard it here, guys. Chow Now. Go check it out. I think I've done a couple orders here and there. I didn't realize though that they're honoring the same prices, because you're right. There is quite a bit of markup on that stuff. That's why I was just talking to one of my coworkers the other day. Like when I DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever, I'm always getting yelled at for ordering too much, but I do it on purpose, because if I'm going to pay those prices, like I want like another meal or two out of it. I want lunch the
Yeah.
next day or dinner the next night. I'm not going to just order a sandwich and pay, whatever it is, 30, $40 just for them to bring me a sandwich and a bag of chips. And again, I try not to do it that often, but there are just certain times where, there was one night where I had stuff to do for this. And I was like, I could either work on getting this content out, or I can spend, the next 45 minutes, going, picking up food and bringing it back. It all depends on your circumstances, but that makes it super convenient. So yeah, so since you've come in, you wanted to be respectful of your predecessor who you purchased the business from, but you wanted to also kind of turn things up a notch in terms of the stuff that you're serving, but then also you're definitely you're having a lot of fun with the marketing aspect of it all. So we're going to put you on the spot here, and this is your content. So if you're going to get upset about it, you have to direct it towards your wife, who forced you to go down this road of entertaining us with your escapades. What do you got there? What is that? Mashed potatoes or potato salad?
No, that's mashed potatoes. So,
Okay.
like I said, I mean, we're not doing like a lot of restaurants will buy their stuff pre-made. I'm in the kitchen making mashed potatoes. So like I've always wanted to just eat out of a bowl of mashed potatoes. Now I didn't eat out of it, just being clear.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I wanted to focus on the fact I'm a fat kid. So like,
Yeah.
you know, I know everybody's kind of thought about it. I mean, there's viral videos of people just kind of dipping their head under a beer tap. So like I'm looking at this big bowl of pulled pork over here, and I'm like, I mean, I could eat this right now.
Yeah.
Of course I didn't, because I want to make sure everybody else gets a chance. But
Just
I'm
roll
just
the
trying to,
sleeves up and start going to work.
yeah. So my server took that picture. I was joking. I'm gonna run out of the kitchen with this bowl of pulled pork, and
I
So she
love it.
just snapped a picture, and I just wanted to do something to let us stand out a little bit because there's this area has grown so much over the years, and yeah, I have a great crowd of locals that come in here, which kind of reminds me of that show Cheers. Everybody knows your name because
Yeah.
so many times people are running into people they haven't seen in a couple of years. But now we're trying to get some people to come in, some of the new people to see us because we have a lot of word of mouth, and that's how we get new business every day. And that's a picture of me and my fiance on on the night that I proposed to her. It was Christmas Eve, so
Oh, that's right. I remember seeing that.
yeah,
Congratulations. I know I said it
thank
at the
you.
time, but that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah,
Now,
so
now
we're
is
just trying to
there
do some stuff with it.
right, right. No, you guys you're doing a killer job. I love it. I mean, listen,
Thank you.
any business that you're in after a while, like you've been doing stuff for a long time, it can get kind of like monotonous. And yes, you have the creative outlet with what you're gonna with your cuisine and the specials and the stuff like that that you're gonna run. But if you can't have like a little bit of fun with it, then what are we doing? Right.
Yeah.
So since we mentioned the soon to be misses, is there anything that you would like to oh, and this is cool too. OMG, we didn't know that we needed a barbecue poke bowl until we had one. I saw this a couple weeks ago. It's a must have. Had pork barbecue, mac and cheese with collards. Daughter had rice, mac and cheese with pork. Leftovers enough for lunch tomorrow. That's the kind of stuff that you want to hear. We got the smoker hard at work over here. Um, you and I talked about something that you might want to. There's the Carolina mustard, spectacular. And then this is the plain piece of cheesecake. You had the ube cheesecake. I think was in one of the stories, or maybe it's on the gram. But let me tell you, and ube doesn't have that distinct, crazy of an intense flavor. But I could tell just from the flavor of that your cheesecake is legit. That thing was super, super thick, super, super creamy, super, super fresh, and that lovely graham cracker crust. Of course, my slice was that beautiful purple color. But where the heck was I going with this? Oh, yes. Anything that you would like to mention that may be coming down the road related to your fiance?
Yeah. So my fiance, she's Filipino, and that's why she makes the ube cheesecake. It's a really big dish in the Philippines. Ube in general, they do it in their halo halo, which is a dessert item of theirs.
Yeah.
The cheesecake, which she does. So we're gearing up, and hopefully in the next few months we're going to start introducing a little fusion menu. So we're trying to put some Filipino food on the menu for us. We're going to go with some basics, some pancit, some lumpia, which if you've never had lumpia, you're never going to want a regular egg roll again. Um, and then, of course, like the adobo, and we're kind of finalizing menus and figuring out what exactly we're going to serve when we do that. But there's definitely a need for it, and it's going to be, we want to stick with the authentic flavor of the Philippines. Um, like we went to a Filipino restaurant in Orlando, and it was kind of it was Americanized very much, where it didn't have that pop of flavor that I'm looking for.
Right.
Where we were in Las Vegas and we went to a Filipino restaurant. I'm like, this is completely different. When my fiance
Yeah.
cooks at home, it's just a whole different thing. It's a whole nother level of food. First time I tried her pan seat, it's like kind of like their version. If you're looking at Chinese food, their version of lo mein, but it's just so much better. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm never eating Chinese food again. Um,
That's it's
it's
a
just,
slightly different noodle, right? Is it
yeah,
Pancit? Is that how they
yeah,
spell it? Right.
yeah.
Talk to me
It's
more
spelled like
about
Chinese
these
food.
noodles.
So she does it with two different noodles, the rice noodles and then the regular soft noodles.
Yeah,
And I mean, for a fat kid, I just like noodles, so yeah, I'm all for it.
all
And
day.
I mean, it's got incredible flavor, and I mean, it's kind of changed my perspective on even eating Chinese food, which is big for me because my stepfather was half Chinese.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I mean, it's just it's something you're definitely gonna want to try. There's not a really good option for a lot of Filipino food around here, so we definitely want to kind of show out a little bit and kind of put that little spin on Choo Choo, and we're gonna introduce some Filipino barbecue with it. because the Filipino barbecue sauce is the next one we're going to be coming out with, and I mean it's incredible. So definitely got lucky with that, and yeah, so keep your eyes on our Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and it'll be up there sooner or later.
Yeah, this this idea's got my attention because facts are facts. That's the Instagram, right? Choo BBQ.
Yep.
Um, facts are facts, dude. We do not have now. Granted, you go over the bridge into Savannah, you'll find a couple, but one of the things that is non-existent here is brick and mortar Filipino restaurant, right? So this is something that is, I mean, I know quite a few Lumpia fans myself. My friend Simone loves them. I know Campfire Tyler's a big Lumpia guy. So I'm going to have to let him know about this because he will drive all the way over here from Beaufort to Bluffton to indulge in some of that stuff. And just like you said, I'm into any of that stuff. I am just like I don't like to, and I don't want to say like Asian as like an all encompassing, but like all of that category of like noodles and rices and stir fries and soups and all that stuff, whether it's, the Vietnamese, like a Vien Pho or a Viet Kitchen, or whether it's, um, a couple of our really good, options for Chinese food, and I got to enjoy some Korean dumplings and the spicy sauce when I was at the Krog Street Market, like all of that stuff, which is why I'm a big like Rhino Hospitality Group guy over in Savannah, for like formerly Ellie and the Chef. Like almost all of their restaurants are Asian inspired. And whether you're talking about Flock to the Walk or Flying Monk, which I finally had the chance to do a couple of weeks ago, all of these all-encompassing categories of like the noodle and like a lot of the like the Filipino food is very similar to that. The lumpia, like you said, is kind of like an egg roll situation, and then you have the pancit, which is like you said, lo mein, but even better in terms of the texture and the taste and the mouthfeel of the noodles that you prefer to have. I don't think I've ever had pancit, so you can lock that up for my order. I'm gonna be there probably night 1 or 2 when this thing goes on. If I'm around, I'm gonna be there. So put me down for lumpia. Put me down for the pancit. You want to throw? I know you rolled a couple off the top. What would you say is another 1 or 2 other than the barbecue that you said, the fusion? What's another 1 or 2 that you're really looking forward to based on what you've had the chance to enjoy?
So we're definitely going to do the adobo.
Okay.
We're going to do the chicken adobo because it's delicious. I
Right.
mean, it's kind of it's so hard to explain. It's kind of like a gravy sauce. The first time she talked about adobo, I mean, I'm Puerto Rican and Italian, so I'm thinking Puerto Rican adobo. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, we use adobo seasoning, so it's going to taste like that. And
Yeah.
it was just, it blew my mind how good it was. It's almost like a stew, and you put it over rice. I love when she makes the garlic fried rice, and you put it over that. It's just a game changer for you.
Garlic fried rice by
Oh
itself
yeah.
sounds awesome.
Oh my gosh, she makes it. I mean, she's Filipino, so if it's not rice on the plate, it's not a dinner. It's not a meal. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the first time she made it, she was making breakfast for us. And I was just like, "You're making rice for breakfast?" And I was before I lived up here. I'm like, I'm gonna run out and get myself a breakfast sandwich. And by
Yeah.
the time I came back, that house smelled so good. I was like, all right, let me try this garlic fried rice at breakfast time. And I
Right.
mean, she gets on me because I make it too much now. I'm like, this is delicious. Like, if you've never had garlic fried rice, you don't know what you're missing.
Yeah.
So that's going to be something else we're going to be offering. Um, but yeah, so we're trying to lock down the menu right now. We're definitely it's going to have some bold flavors. But I've talked to some of my regulars about it, and especially a lot of the guys that have been in the military. They're like, "You're doing Filipino food. I'm there." A couple guys told me they used to be stationed in the Philippines, so they're definitely looking forward to it. I know the lumpia is always a hit anywhere you go. She made lumpia for my mom's birthday party. A year ago, a year and a half ago, and that was gone before the food I was putting out, just to do for her. Everyone's like, my mom always asks me like, when's she gonna come down here and make some lumpia? So we're gonna throw that on the menu and kind of it's going to be a big shock to people. They're going to love it. And, it's kind of going to be like our sweet potato casserole. It's addictively good. You're going to need a 12-step program if you go too long without it. So
You said it's kind of going to be like what?
it's addictively good. If you go too
Addictively.
long without that, you're going to need a 12-step program to get over it. So, you know,
And chances are that sauce for that lumpy is probably going to be homemade, right?
oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Yes,
100%.
I
If
love
I
it.
could make my own burger buns, I'd be doing that. But we do get top of line burger buns, and I just don't have the capability of making them. But that's the only thing that we don't make homemade.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Sauce master. Oh,
yeah,
I love
wait
it,
for my
dude.
next restaurant will be called Saucy's. So just wait till that happens.
Okay. We'll have you on here again. Well, we're gonna have you on here many times before then, but we'll be ready for that too. Just like we're gonna be ready for this Filipino. I'm ready, dude. I'm super excited about it. Um, you know me, I'll probably eat pretty much every single thing um on that special menu. Um, I am I'm all in on that type of stuff. Um, the menu that you guys have. So this is just the standard, right? This is our standard menu. This is what you see when you walk in.
Correct.
So these are all sandwiches, right? Pulled pork, pulled chicken, sliced brisket, or the train wreck, which is all three of them. Fried chicken sandwich, hot links, hot dog basket, pork belly sandwich. Of course, you got your wings. How many different sauces? Is there one? Is there one traditional wing sauce with you guys, or is there a couple different ones?
No, so we offer our wings tossed in any of our barbecue sauces. You get the smoky mild, smoky hot barbecue, the Carolina mustard. We have our own signature buffalo sauce, and then one I introduced was the sweet red chili sauce. So it's a little different than your typical sweet red chili. Again, we're making that, but it's kind of become very popular. I kind of keep that one in the background. It's like if you know type of sauce, and people just love it. Um, I toss my chicken wings in there for myself. My chicken tenders get tossed in it. I mean, I would put it on a bumper and eat it. It's just really good. Uh, so yeah, we definitely trying to just stand out a little bit. Like as you see, we added burgers onto the menu, which we didn't have burgers before we took over. But going back to the fat kid thing, I wanted a good, juicy, grease, just dirty burger that your sauce is dripping off your hands, your face. My beard will just be covered in sauce because I put the smoky mild on my brisket burger, and it slays. It has American cheese, pile of brisket on top of the burger patty, and then a couple onion rings to top it off. So it's kind of made for the barbecue sauce. So
You
yeah, we're
probably
just
didn't
trying.
suggest this the other night because you didn't want to kill me with the other three or four things that you were feeding me. But
Oh
dude,
yeah,
I'm getting hungry myself because it's just about dinner time. That the way that you just described that to me sounded incredible. The photos from the Facebook page of the meatloaf. Don't tell my mother that I'm going to eat your meatloaf. She might get upset. My mother's meatloaf is legendary. But meatloaf barbecue meatloaf is a little bit different than what your tradition. Even though like ketchup is actually one of the ingredients that's used in the whole concoction, not a substantial quantity. But my mother's meatloaf, like I eat it with ketchup, but you really don't need anything, and the diced onions and everything that are all in there. But that meatloaf looked, I think I flashed it up there before. It looks delicious. I want some of that. I'm gonna have some more catfish. And I'm definitely gonna have. I mean, now that you described that brisket burger, any of those sandwiches that we talked about can just be done as a barbecue plate where you get two sides and a slice of cornbread. You saw cornbread in a bunch of those pictures. The cornbread has always been very good here, very moist, and that bright yellow corn color. And then, of course, these are all the sides. This is what kind of mesmerized me yesterday. I was trying to avoid like the heavy fried stuff. So, just going down the list, coleslaw, loved it. White rice, perfect thing to be topped with that jerk chicken with the extra side of the jerk sauce, which you weren't kidding, dude. That jerk sauce packs a punch. That is some spicy jerk sauce. So next time I'll do some onion rings, and especially since there's a couple on that burger. You got your fries. I thought the green beans are great. The baked beans are great. Potato salad was good. Mac and cheese was good. I told you I was going to hold off on collard greens since I just did a bunch of collards over at Beato's last week. So I'm going to come back to those on one of my combos. The Brunswick stew was fantastic. Bacon cheese fries, did not even notice that. Sweet potato casserole, you talk about 12-step program. My wife's immediately locked in and addicted to that sweet potato casserole. You threw in a couple of hush puppies. I knocked down one or two of those with the catfish, and of course you saw you making your fresh batch of mashed potatoes before. Any of this stuff that we talked about, any of these meats, you can get bulk to go. And of course, you got your piglets menu for the kids, catering services, carte blanche. If you go to Choo Choo BBQ, Eric has the catering menus that he's got you a couple of different options that are there right on the counter, right, that they can grab and take with them. I think I took a couple of them last time I was there.
Yeah, so the ones on the counter are actually, it's going to show like our new quick pick, the bowls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It has our traditional menu, and then with the bowl, the quick pick menu on the other side of that, it actually has our family style meals. You get a couple pounds of meat, a couple
Yeah.
big sides, and some cornbread. It's kind of designed for the whole family. It works out for a lot of families when it comes to sports time. You got your kids in football or soccer. It's a real quick way to get the family around the dinner table. So
Yeah, definitely. Super easy. Lunch special, still doing this, right? 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
yep,
Any
11 to 3.
sandwich, two sides and a drink from 11 to 3, $14. You can't beat that. And we talked about the kids and stuff like that. I just want to mention this briefly. I know we're it's already a month later. You guys had a cool event, dinner with Santa at Choo Choo BBQ. How did you come up with this idea? I know you had some cool stuff there for the kids to look at, and some trucks and stuff like that. How did you come up with this idea? And are you going to be thinking about doing, stuff like this in the future?
Yeah, so Christmas is always just kind of that happy time of the year for me when I was growing up. My fiance being from the Philippines, they're really big on Christmas. We had our Christmas tree up in September. They celebrate the Burr months. If it's September, October, it's Christmas to them. So
Yeah.
we were talking about wanting to start traditions, and with it was still our first year. We just got done with our first year anniversary of owning the place. I wanted to focus on the family thing, so we wanted to do dinner with Santa. Kids came in, they built uh, gingerbread houses. They got to take pictures with Santa. Some of my great regulars that come in all the time, they're part of a club that has a whole bunch of jacked up trucks with lights on it. And, the grandfather, he was right behind the one lady in line when I was talking about it. He goes, "I'm going to bring the guys up. We're going to bring the trucks. I love it." And his grandson and his daughter, they were putting together a gingerbread house, which looked incredible.
Yeah.
It's the first year. We're going to try to do it annually. Always have a dinner with Santa for kids to kind of enjoy. We gave out cookies, and it was just a great time a year to kind of celebrate. And we had the place decorated with the lights, and yeah. So next year we're going to go bigger with the lights, and then we're going to have Santa back, and hopefully we can get some more trucks out, and kind of do it up again.
That's awesome. You got a great turnout for that. It's a lot of fun. It's always cool when you guys do things. I mean, you work so hard enough as it is to feed us day in and day out. And then when you're also willing to, host events like this, that's really like no pun intended, or no joking around intended. It's fun for the whole family. And I know that, since you've been here, not only have you been um, cranking out some pretty incredible food over there at Choo Choo BBQ, but I know that the community is important to you guys as well. Obviously, you're right there in the thick of it in Old Town. So, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I don't have the right to say it because I've only, at least according to certain people, I've only been here about 5 years. Okay, but I don't get the vibe from you that like you're someone that hasn't been here for a very long time. And I say that with respect to your demeanor and your friendliness and your hospitality coming into that business. Um, I follow a lot of this stuff on Instagram and whatnot, um, with the food and beverage industry, right? if you're going to a place and you don't feel welcome and you don't feel and I was talking to my wife about this. An episode of Bar Rescue or whatever popped up the other night. It was the one where he sent Dave Portnoy and Frankie Borelli into this place, and these two guys were, I think they kind of knew who he was, but they're the one guy's hanging out, he's drinking, he's talking, what about Portnoy, and I don't even know if wasn't really sure at the time who he was. And then they order every pizza on the menu and they bring it back to the chef. And of course, everybody's on camera. And the chef's like, "Are you effing kidding me? I got to make every pizza." Meanwhile, the place is, of course, because it's on this show, it's losing like $300 a week or whatever it was that the guy said. Right. And they just couldn't have had a worse attitude. And of course, Taffer comes in and he just lights them up. That's the best part of this show. It's kind of like, Gordon Ramsay, but for bars, if you haven't seen it, and he just goes ballistic on the guys. Obviously that's the extreme other end of the case, but there's a lot of options around here. Right. And there's a lot of different types of food. And I'm going to ask you one last question before I let you go, but that's important. And it's important to a lot of people, not just to be able to go into a place and to get good food, but to be treated in a friendly manner. Like you said, you have people that are coming in literally almost every day, like some of these regulars. And there's a lure there that, like, immediately when you walk in the door of the store, you're immediately comfortable, you're welcomed, and it's like, what can I get you? The patron that was in front of me was asking you a couple of questions. You suggested, oh, you might want to have a slice of this because this is the last one that we're going to be making for a while. And like you're pointing, everyone into the direction of having the most pleasant experience. And like you said, the word of mouth is the most important thing. So the word's going to spread about that. I've had people, believe it or not, dude, tell me, this is going back a couple of years, I had people tell me going to Choo Choo BBQ, and one or two of them had not even been to Choo Choo BBQ, and they were that confident in telling me to go there. And especially now, seeing what you're doing there, and the creativity and the effort that you're putting into these specials and these limited time things that you're doing, I certainly am one that appreciates it, and I can't wait to continue to enjoy everything. And we talked about how I'm going to be enjoying every sandwich in another month and a half, as we head into the spring, hopefully pre spring break, Heritage Madness time. And we'll talk more about that at another time. Before I let you go, it's 5:30 on Friday. We got to get you back to dinner service, right? Is there anything that you would like to mention in terms of, like you said, we have our fat kid tendencies, the things that we like to indulge in, right? What are maybe one or two of the things, and it could be local, it could be from some of your past adventures, because I'll be honest with you, dude, I'm chomping at the bit. Since I got down here, I've been here for almost 5 years. I'm still, dying to get down to, Florida, and whether it's the Keys or, Orlando, where I have some friends. I've really only been once or twice to Jacksonville since I got down here, just too busy with other things. But in any current, present, or past, or even if you want to mention something that you've been looking forward to that maybe you've seen that's been kind of newer to the scene, what are some of the things that you enjoy outside of your barbecue stuff?
Yeah, so I'm a major foodie. I was always a chef, working chef, and that's kind of what I got into it. I know I do want to give a shout out to Nectar, because that was like the first date my fiance and I went on when I first met her. We went out to Nectar's, and I really enjoyed the atmosphere, the look of it, and we had a really good server. Um, so I definitely enjoyed that. And there's a lot of places out here. We went on our anniversary dinner out to Hudson's, and I mean, the manager there even bought us dessert. They didn't know who I was. They had no idea that I owned a restaurant in the area.
Right.
It was really cool, and definitely, customer service. I'm big on it here because it stands out to me.
Yeah.
If I have a good experience somewhere, I'm gonna want to go back.
Yeah.
So we're definitely both big foodies, and we'd like to try it out. Now, if you go down to Florida, go to where I'm from, down in Cocoa Beach area. If you're out in Cocoa Beach, definitely get some fish tacos. They definitely rock down there. You got fish lips down there, right on the pier, or right on the port. good food. Orlando's just loaded with good food. I can't think of the Filipino restaurant we went to down there. Um, but yeah, if you really want to spend some money, go to Charlie's down in Orlando when you go down there. It's very expensive, but definitely worth it. Great steak, great food. If you have the Caesar salad, it's going to feel like you're eating a meat salad. It's just delicious.
Meat salad. I love it.
Yeah.
I had a pretty killer chicken Caesar wrap at the cottage yesterday, prepping for my interview with Leslie next week. It was fried chicken, some nice strong flavor Caesar dressing, you had the Parmesan, the whole 9 yards. Flora and Fauna has a fried chicken cutlet Caesar sandwich as well that they put on like a crispy, like a longer baguette. This one over here was on like a spinach wrap over at the cottage. That's all good stuff. Nectar's great. It's a great spot. Breakfast, brunch, lunch, dinner, whatever the case is. Great. One of the better outdoor patios in town. And you mentioned Hudson's. I'm trying to wrangle Andrew because he and Doug from his partner at Shellring Oyster Company are going to be doing the podcast. We're supposed to be doing it from the restaurant, which has been under renovation and is ready to reopen any day now. These colder temperatures, obviously not optimal for the outside dining, but I'm looking forward to having that conversation with them. And I'm not surprised at all because Hudson's does it right. They've been doing it right for a long time. I'm very excited to talk to him because that's one of the 3 oldest, if not the oldest restaurant on Hilton Head. And, for my money, and we'll talk about this more when I talk to those guys, for my money, sitting there at the bar, I don't even need company. I could be there by myself, sitting there at that bar, having lunch with their servers who are all awesome. I'm not even going to name names because I'll forget people. On a nice 60-70 degree day. That was actually one of the things he was kind of bummed out about because we had that unseasonably warm weather last week. And of course, they were closed because they had to do some every year. They're kind of cleaning things up, not cleaning things up, but like, it's like, oh, we redid these bathrooms last year. We're going to redo these bathrooms this year. So there's always taking advantage of a brief respite. When you got like 150 people working there, you don't want them to be sitting home for too long, even though everybody deserves a vacation. I had a funny thing that one of the chefs told me today when I was out and about, talking about food and supplies and things like that. Made a joke about is there an option for time off on the list of the products? Is there does it have a day off? And we were having a good chuckle about what would that be worth to you? Like how much would you pay a pound or a unit for a day off here or there? Because even on your guys' days off, you're shopping and concocting and prepping and doing all that other kind of stuff. Is this correct in what I'm looking at here that you guys you're only closed on Sundays, right?
We're currently closed on Sundays and Mondays.
Okay, Sundays and
We're
Mondays.
looking to bring in Mondays soon. I did a test Monday, and it went fairly well. So yeah, we're looking at bringing that in soon.
I wasn't sure only because when you pull up Google, it obviously Google's smart enough to specify that Monday is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So I wasn't sure if that was just a one-off or if it was specific to the holiday. That's pretty common. There are restaurants here and there that are open 7 days a week, but the Sunday, Monday is pretty common. But that's cool. Stay tuned if you guys are going to be adding Mondays soon. That's cool too. But for now, 5 days a week, you can get some really, really good barbecue at Choo Choo BBQ. Can't recommend it enough. And not just because I'm biased, because Eric is a great guy and have been having a lot of fun, even just kind of shooting the shit with him and just, having our fat kid foodie conversations that we have. Choo Choo BBQ.net 843-815-pork 843-815-7675. They are on Facebook at Choo Choo BBQ spelled out. I mean, you can just type in Choo Choo BBQ in your search box and it'll come up, but it is technically specifically facebook.com/Choo Choo CHOO BBQ with a Q. So BARBEQUE. But like I said, make it easier for yourselves. Just type it right into the search box. And of course, we said that we have the Instagram page, which is at Choo BBQ. If you want, you can throw out the TikTok too. I'm TikTok illiterate, but is it the same handle for TikTok?
Yeah, it's the same one for TikTok.
Choo, CHOO.CHOOBBQ on Instagram and TikTok. Go check him out. The videos are a lot of fun. Keep an eye out for his current and upcoming specials. They're always active, posting them in the stories. Guys, look at this red chili smoked chicken wing that I'm just going to show you on the way out here. That's getting done on the next trip next time too. I'm probably going to outdo what my original order was from last night. I might even have to go and finish up those leftovers because I'm starving after having this conversation. But the Indulgent Hour has taken you over an hour. Let me get this off of here. Come on, remove. Why is it not popping you back? Okay, there you are. All right, man. Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to throw in before you bid us adieu and get back to your Friday night BBQ?
I just want to thank you for having me on the podcast. Thank you to all my regular customers that come in here and support us. It means the world to us, and we appreciate y'all and all the conversations with people we met.
Awesome. We got Julie Tan commented supportive. I don't know what language this is, but there's hearts on it, so that's positive. It says Kathleen Ann. So we got a comment from them. Thank you, dude, for taking the time. I know that. Thank you for being patient with me as I waded through gallons and gallons of soup. Just like you're working yourself through gallons and gallons of mac and cheese and homemade mashed potatoes and every kind of homemade, unbelievable, unbelievably tasty sauce imaginable. Keep your eyes out for, what did you say it was going to be called? Saucy?
Saucies. Sooner or later. We're getting there.
Saucies. That's down the road, but more near frame. We're looking at the special Filipino menu that's going to be coming out with some Filipino barbecue fusion action. I cannot wait for that. I'm drooling just thinking about it with the noodles and tell me one more time, the pancit. That's it, right? The pancit, the lumpia, and all that good stuff. Thanks again, my man. Have a great weekend. I hope you guys are busy throughout, through tomorrow. And I will catch up with you sooner than later within the next week or two so that I can work my way through the rest of this menu.
All right. I appreciate it. You have a good one.
You too, bro. All right. There you have it. Eric Amey from Choo Choo BBQ. I hope everybody enjoyed that. He's a really fun guy. He's having a lot of fun with the socials, with the stuff that he's doing, obviously having a lot of fun with the creative stuff that he's got going on with the menu and everything like that. I really enjoy barbecue food. It's probably not one of the ones that I have the most frequently, but it's definitely the one when I do. It's tailor-made for someone like me who likes to have, a bunch of, like, a variety of food and a bunch of different sides and things like that. I don't know that there's really anything that you want from a barbecue place that you're not going to be able to find there. Also a really cool spot, like we showed you before, with the train and the train car and everything like that with the smokers. Eric's really, really kind of lit things up, literally and figuratively since he came here, took the reins over there. So highly recommend it, especially on a night like tonight where it's 45 degrees outside and plummeting as we head into the weekend. I also want to mention that for those of you who are out there that are going to be watching your football this weekend, especially if you are a fan of the Buffalo Bills, you have the opportunity at Holy Tequila. I believe the Bills game is tomorrow. So yes, today is the 16th. They're doing Fajita Friday and trivia. Tomorrow, the 17th, Bills versus Broncos at 4:30 p.m. Get there early if you want to get a seat, especially at the bar. But if you want to get a seat, period, you're going to want to get there early because especially with this run that the Bills are on, and I'm definitely rooting for them because my cousin Joey has been a long-suffering Bills fan, and there's never been a better opportunity for Josh Allen and that squad with no Lamar Jackson and no Patrick Mahomes. Not saying that they have a clear path; they got some work cut out for them with the Broncos and whoever comes out of that Pats Texans game. But more importantly than watching the game, you can get your certified choice ribeye beef on weck. I already took the screen off, so I'm not going to show it to you, but you can go to Holy Tequila on Facebook, Instagram, or just go straight to their website. Again, this is Holy Tequila in Hilton Head outside of Sea Pines. You can get your ribeye beef on weck. They're also doing Chiavetta's chicken quarters. Chiavetta's chicken is a very popular thing up in Buffalo among the Bills fans. So you're getting Bills Broncos at 4:30 tomorrow at Holy Tequila. They're going to show, hopefully, off a Bills win. There'll be a nice fun crew for 49ers Seahawks. I'm rooting Seahawks there myself, selfishly, because I'm in on one of those knockout pools, and I got Seattle. I think they're favored by 7 tomorrow. And of course, Sam Darnold's got something with his oblique. Terrible timing as far as that goes. And then January 18th, which is Sunday, they're going to do their Sunday brunch before Texans Patriots at 3 and Rams and Bears at 6:30. January 19th, everybody's going to be recovering. They'll be closed for lunch, which of course is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And then, of course, they'll reopen at 3 o'clock in the bar, kitchen at 4, and then college football national championship starts at 7:30. Go Hoosiers. I should also mention the picture wouldn't even do it justice, but if you are interested in something special this weekend, I saw 2 things that caught my eye on the socials. One of them is some of these restaurants are getting a head start. They're starting their restaurant week early. I noticed a couple of things that stood out. First of all, you're going to want to pay attention to Radici, what they're doing for restaurant week. What they've been doing in general with this new menu is spectacular. If you're up for a nice special, really authentic Italian meal, go check out Radici. Go check out what they're going to be doing for restaurant week. Chez George has a restaurant week menu. They also have these incredible like stone crab claws. I saw a picture of them the other day. They look absolutely incredible. I texted George and I said, "How are those crab claws?" And he wrote, "Huge," was his response. That's the only thing that I needed to hear. So I'm going to get there. I'm going to try some of those. I also noticed that Chef Nunzio over at Nunzio's is doing a rigatoni carbonara for restaurant week. I'm a huge carbonara fan. One time I did a carbonara off with my buddy Brett, where he made his carbonara and I made my carbonara, and all of our friends got to decide. Mine won, but there were some shenanigans that were going on. You're going to tell me that his carbonara with the bacon was better than my carbonara with the prosciutto di Parma. I got another thing coming for you. But anyway, go check that out. Again, the rigatoni carbonara at Nunzio for restaurant week. The Hilton Head Chamber restaurant week, there's a lot of good stuff going on. I'm hoping to get together with my buddy Tanner Sutphin after I would say hopefully either early next week or the definitely before the restaurant week festivities start, where we're going to try to highlight a couple of things for you guys on that. Also very excited about what Billy Vesicchio from Rocky's Deli. I'm hoping to take a ride out there tomorrow. He's got some crazy sandwich now that's got like meat and shrimp on it. It's like it's a whole craziness. I should probably look it up. But now that the Giants, and I would be remiss if I got through an entire podcast not mentioning how over the moon I am for the Giants' new head coaching hire, John Harbaugh. So we were brainstorming a couple of ideas for what the special Harbaugh inspired sandwich. I'm not going to tell you the idea that I had because I'm hoping that he's going to use it, because it was pretty clever, if I don't mind if I say so myself. But speaking of clever, the Red Storm, WJCL sports director Amy Zimmer that she stopped by, and so they inspired her to bring back a great special. Since she is an alum and former volleyball player at St. John's, they have the Red Storm, which is surf and turf on a hero, a bed of shaved ribeye steak topped with Cajun fried shrimp, applewood smoked bacon, and Parmesan cream on a garlicky semolina hero. This thing looks insane. I highly recommend it. I had to finally just get this thing back on here for you. It's actually easier than I thought it was going to be. Would you look at this sandwich? I mean, this is insane. And here we have Amey. That was, I think she actually came back to enjoy it. So there she is. There's the sandwich. If they have some more still left tomorrow, I'm probably going to check that out. While I'm at it, I might as well give you the visuals on the crabs that I told you about from. What is this? No, that's not what I want. This is what I want. There we go. We got the restaurant menu. Uncommon Cuts is the event that Shea George is going to be hosting during restaurant week. No, during Seafood Festival. So that's something that you want to check out as well. But can I find it might have actually been, now that I think of it, it might have been in the stories. I was going to see if I could show you guys those incredibly large crab claws that Shea George had, but I'm not seeing them on the regular feed here. But take my word for it. They looked absolutely incredible. And then, of course, I think this might have been actually another story as well. No, I got a photo there for you. I mean, would you look at that? Rigatoni carbonara from Nunzio. I'm going to get that done. There ain't no doubt about it. All right, guys, we're running long. Indulgent hour plus at this point. Let me take this out of here. So keep an eye out for that stuff. As far as upcoming shows, again, Laundry Diner, Chef Brian Fiascanaro, Monday, an early, I would say mid to late afternoon. So an early episode on Monday. Brian is not only an incredible chef, but he and I share similar interests, such as our miserable New York Mets fandom. Oh, the pain as the Dodgers overpay another incredible player. I don't even know what his name is. It doesn't matter. Guy got $240 million to join the Dodgers and just make them, even because if they, it's not enough that they won the last two World Series with all these other players that they bought, but whatever. That's just my 2 cents on that. We are also both wrestling fans, as you can see, obviously, right? Shout out CM Punk, World Heavyweight Champion. Raw's going to be on Netflix. With this new Netflix deal, they show it whenever it happens, wherever it happens. So it's going to be airing at, I want to say like 3:00 or something on Monday. So Brian and I are going to have a little fun. We're going to talk about Laundry Diner. We got a new catfish sandwich going on over there. That looks spectacular. Brian also sneaky good, not sneaky good. Well, sneaky if you were surprised that it would be getting it at a diner. Fiascanaro, obviously a very Irish name, right? Brian has a killer recipe for, and I could tell you, my boy Robbie, Chef Robbie from Michael Anthony's would agree. His marinara's serious marinara, whether it's with the mozzarella sticks or whether it's with one of the sandwiches. I don't know if it was a meatball here or whatever it was. I got some more exploring to do. I got a date with my buddies at Two Birds Greek Street Food. Elena and Sonny Hughley. We're gonna catch up over there next week and have some dinner going on. But Brian and I are gonna talk. We're gonna have a lot of fun Monday. We're gonna talk about Laundry Diner. We're gonna talk about the Savannah food scene. They just got mentioned as one of Savannah's newer restaurants. I forget which, or one of Savannah's best newer restaurants. I don't remember what publication that was, but I was happy to see that. Shout out to James and Liz Massey for another winner in the Laundry Diner. And again, constantly adding cocktails and this and that. And it's just like, I can't even begin to tell you all the amazing stuff that they have going over there. I can't wait to eat more of it, obviously. And then again, Leslie Rowland from The Cottage, Juice Hive, Bluffton Pasta Shop, May River Coffee Roasters, all coming up on Tuesday with Leslie, Chef Leslie. And then, again, like I mentioned before, as soon as I can wrangle my guy, Andrew Carmines, and his partner, Doug, from Shell Ring Oyster Company, and of course, Andrew from Hudson Seafood on the Docks, which is reopening any day now after their most recent renovation. They're coming up as well. I got more. I've listed them before, both on this side of the river and the other coming up. So we're just going to have content coming at you guys fast and furious as we head into Restaurant Week. And then, of course, festival season coming in February. But one thing at a time. Enjoy those football games this weekend. Let us know what you're eating, where you're ordering from, where you're going to watch the games. Again, for my money, Holy Tequila is the spot on the island, especially if you are a Buffalo Bills fan. If you are out here, 170 May River Crossing area, I would recommend Flatbread Grill and Bar. I'm trying to think. I know, I'm sure there's probably a lot of people that like to. I'll tell you what, before I let you guys go, and I promise this time it'll be for real, I stopped to see Heather today, who's the manager over at Tailgaters Bar and Grill. Tailgaters is off Argent Boulevard, over kind of closer towards where like Auto Nation and the car dealerships are. And I had popped in there a couple of weeks ago, and I'm definitely intrigued. I didn't bring the menu up here with me to the HQ, to the studio, but there's a lot of really intriguing stuff on that menu at Tailgaters. And I guess I had my blinders on when I was there a couple of weeks ago, because I walked in and I looked to the right, straight to the right where the bar is, straight to the back. I was talking to Heather for a little bit, and what I didn't realize is, and today, because I sat down while I was waiting to speak with her, and I looked over to the left and I saw, triple, quadruple size of the room with pool tables and dartboards. And I mean, it was just incredible. And then even in addition to that, a whole room that can be rented out for parties. I get a lot of questions, and there's always a lot of people asking in the groups, where can I take my for this birthday party or for that, as I'm make you guys dizzy. Where can I go for a party? Where can I bring my group for either my kids' party or my fantasy football draft? Or where like, this thing has a projection screen. This thing has multiple panels. There's dartboards in there. There's plenty of seating to fit. I think she said probably 50 to 60, maybe a few more people than that. So check out Tailgaters Bar and Grill. For you Hilton Head Islanders, yeah, a little bit of a ride, but again, I've been telling you to go to Southern Spice Deli and other places like that out that way already. And Tailgaters is kind of like the same idea. Just take 278, out to, you can either get on 170 and then go Argent from there, or you can go all the way out to, that's probably what I would do, is go all the way out to the end of Argent where it spits out on 278, right in front of that cluster of Auto Nation dealerships over there. And you can get you some grub and whatever else you choose, whatever other beverages, alcoholic or not, that you choose to indulge in at Tailgaters Bar and Grill. More on that coming up. I'm going to let you guys go. It's 6:00. I'm hungry. I need some dinner. If anybody's got any ideas for me, I'm all ears, because I ain't going back out. I've been driving nonstop all week. But I'll save you all the boring details on that. Enjoy every sandwich coming up in, I want to say, like a month and a half. Let's say I'm going to shoot for probably end of February, early March. Again, ideally before spring break, and then we got Heritage behind that, and then we're in the full throes of the busy season on Hilton Head. So obviously the idea with these promotions and these ideas is to get some butts in the seats at times where things might be a little bit late, like they have been really honestly over the last couple of weeks. So get out there, warm up your innards with some delicious food out this weekend, whether you're in Bluffton or Hilton Head. Get geared up for Restaurant Week, which is coming up in another week or so. More to come on that. And that's it. No mas. Stay hungry, my friends. Indulgent Islander out. Have a great weekend. Go Bills. Go Seahawks. Go Texans. Go Bears. Great Chicago hot dog at Tin and Tallow. Shout out Derek Ludaway, frontman cometh, with that photo that the other day that he was enjoying that Chicago dog. Go eat it. The jambalaya egg roll is delicious. Little birdie told me that hot dogs may be on the menu permanently. Don't tell him I told you. Keep that between you and I, okay? Tin and Tallow, one of my favorites. Shout out Tyler, the original innovator, the original flavor innovator. And let's just say we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but let's just say if the Bears are able to get past the Rams and they go to the NFC Championship game, then they're one step away from the big game, right? And if that comes to pass, there may be some cool stuff coming in a couple of weeks. I'll leave it at that. See you guys. Have a great weekend. Peace.